On my birthday, Chloe finally agreed to travel abroad with me, but right before we boarded the plane, she messaged me saying her mother was sick and left me behind. Knowing full well how poor my English was, that night, while I was abroad, I saw a post from her childhood friend. It was a photo of her sleeping face, with the caption, "True love is one phone call, and you'll run to me straight from the airport." Everyone was watching for how I, her boyfriend, would react. What they didn't expect was my comment, "You're already sleeping in the same bed. Might as well get married, right?" Chapter 1. Chloe knew my English was bad. When she left me alone at the airport, I wasn't even that mad at first. She said her mom was sick. After all, I even wanted to ask if she needed my help, but she wouldn't reply. Then I saw Peter's tweet abroad. Chloe, asleep on his bed, clothes still on, and that line, "True love is one phone call, and you'll run to me straight from the airport." That's when I lost it. We had a huge fight. She threw out the same line she always did. "Peter and I are just friends. You think everyone's sleeping with each other." Then she blocked me. So there I was, fumbling through a 15-day trip in a foreign land, getting by on broken English and being looked down on by strangers. But on the day before I flew home, Chloe unblocked me. She messaged, "I'll pick you up tomorrow." I knew what that meant. She wanted to make peace in our relationship. She was always in control. She'd block me during fights, then unblock me when she was ready to forgive me. And I, no matter what, would never block her. So over the years, she came and went as she pleased. But what she didn't know was that those 15 days, surviving on my own in a foreign country, had made me rethink this whole relationship. If this were the past, I'd be overjoyed that we made up. But this time, I wasn't thrilled. I just replied plainly, "Thanks." Then tossed my phone aside and started packing, because I knew she wouldn't message back. But before bed, I saw one last text from her. "See you tomorrow." I turned off my phone and slept through the night. Chapter 2. At 7 p.m., I landed. I looked around the airport. Chloe wasn't there, dragging 2 huge suitcases behind me. I walked out. A taxi driver greeted me warmly. "Where to, young man?" I smiled, waiting for someone to pick me up. I had already sent Chloe my flight info. She'd know what time to come. But I waited outside until it got dark. Taxis came and went, and Chloe still didn't show. No texts either. "I've done 3 rounds already. Kid, if you don't go now, there won't be any cars left," the driver called out from his window. I pulled my suitcases over and said, "All right, let's go." Chapter 3. By the time I got home, it was already midnight. The taxi driver, worried about my safety, kindly waited at the entrance of the complex with his headlights on, lighting the path until I walked into the building. Only then did he drive away. And even then, Chloe hadn't sent me a single message. I didn't question her. I just washed up, collapsed on the couch in exhaustion, and opened a message from Lisa. "Are you really not going to reconsider the overseas assignment? It's only 2 years. You can still come back during holidays to visit your girlfriend. Lisa is my direct manager. There's a project in Yemen that needs people, and she's been strongly recommending me for it." I kept turning her down, saying my English wasn't good, but she could see right through it. The truth was, I couldn't let go of Chloe. Then she sent another message. "Once you're back, your annual salary will jump to 1.2 million, and I'll be going too, so you don't need to worry." Chloe and I were university classmates. We started dating in junior year, and it's been 3 years since graduation. 5 years in total, 5 years of my life revolving around her. When we graduated, the school asked us to write our hopes for the future on sticky notes. Among dreams like make $1 million a year, become a scholar, or run a big company, I carefully wrote, build a home with Chloe. 5 years revolving around her. Yet I couldn't even get her to show up late at night to pick me up from the airport. What a joke. I replied to Lisa, "I'm in." She immediately sent a voice message. "Thrilled. That's more like it. Goo. If you don't take this project, there's literally no one else who can. Come on, sign up for IELTS right now. Try to take the test next month. You only need a 6.5. Chapter 4. Just seeing English gives me a headache. I crammed endlessly with practice tests, and my scores were passable, except for speaking. I could never get it right. Thankfully, I had Chloe, an English major, to cover for me. But since she didn't come on the trip, my heavy Chinese accented English got me plenty of scorn. I turned on my laptop, registered for next month's exam, and started looking through past tests. Before long, I was dozing off at my desk, half asleep. I heard the sound of keys turning in the lock. Then, footsteps. Dominic. She called my name a few times. She came to the study door, saw me slumped over the desk, and sounded irritated. "Dominic." I rubbed my eyes and sat up. "You're back." She paused, her frown deepening. I had no idea what she was mad about. Was she angry I hadn't waited up like before, that I didn't interrogate her about why she didn't pick me up, didn't accuse her of having something with Peter, didn't start a fight? "I just finished work. I tried calling you, you didn't answer." she said. I checked my phone, several missed calls and messages from her, asking where I was. By then, it was almost 1 a.m. Peter had a panic attack from his claustrophobia. He started hurting himself. I couldn't get away. I didn't even let her finish. She froze, then sighed. I know you're mad, but Peter and I. Mad about what? I gave a small laugh, stretched, and walked toward the bedroom. It's late. I'm really tired. Let's talk tomorrow, Dominic. Her tone sharpened. If you have something to say, just say it. Don't play these games with me. I looked confused. What games? What am I saying? You. She struggled for words. That was rare for her. She was never one to be at a loss, only unwilling to explain. Never unable. I pulled the blanket back and got into bed. Let's sleep. You shouldn't overwork yourself either. I closed my eyes, and my breathing soon steadied. Somewhere between sleep and waking, I thought I heard the door slam shut. I knew exactly why she was angry. She had finally offered me an olive branch, and I didn't take it. But it didn't matter anymore. That night, I slept incredibly well. Chapter 5. The next morning, when I opened the bedroom door, there was a small cake on the dining table. Chloe was sitting on a chair. Dominic, happy belated 26th birthday. I blinked. So she did remember the whole reason I went abroad was for my birthday. The reason I didn't go with you, it was because Peter's claustrophobia treatment failed. The doctor said if I didn't stay with him, he might hurt himself. That night, I collapsed on his bed from exhaustion. It wasn't what you think. And about last night, I walked up to the table, leaned over to look at the delicate little cake. You made this for me. Thank you. She froze for a second. Dominic. The candles were already lit. I clasped my hands together, silently wished for a 6-5 on my IELTS, and blew out the candles in one go. Then I smiled at her. Thanks. First day back home and already getting treated right. Chloe frowned. Dominic, can you just let me explain? I smiled gently. You mean about you and Peter? Don't worry. I'm not jealous anymore. The way she looked at me was strange. I picked up the knife, cut the cake, placed a slice in front of her, then picked up mine and took a bite. Tastes pretty good. You're not angry? I gave a calm smile. No. You guys grew up together. Of course you're close. It's only natural to take care of each other. I understand. She was silent for a while. When she looked back at me, her eyes carried guilt. Dominic, there's a company event tonight. Employees can bring their partners. Chapter 6. I was still eating cake and looked up when she spoke. If this had happened in the past, I would have been over the moon. I'd have jumped up and smothered her with kisses. But now, I simply put the cake down. I don't think I can go. I've got plans tonight, working overtime. I thought about the IELTS prep I had to do, but if I said that, she'd start asking questions, so I just nodded vaguely. Then I'll wait for you after work. We can go together. Better not. I really don't feel like going. Chloe froze. I was never the kind of person to skip an event where I could be seen with her. I used to love being her boyfriend. Loved it so much I wanted the whole world to know we were a couple. Her brows furrowed tightly. But I'm supposed to bring a +1. I started changing clothes, getting ready to head out. Things are just hectic lately. I really can't spare the time. With my back to her, I focused on what I was doing. A moment later, I heard the sound of a chair being yanked back. She grabbed her coat and walked toward the door. Fine, I'll take Peter. Then she slammed the door on her way out. I turned to glance at the door, then went right back to getting ready. The overseas assignment was confirmed. My buddy Alex was flying in that night for a farewell dinner. My phone buzzed with a notification, a special alert. It was Peter. In the past, I obsessed over every tiny detail between Chloe and Peter. It hurt, but I couldn't stop watching them. I had even set Peter as a special follow just to never miss anything. This time, it was a photo from a party. Peter had his arm around someone's arm in a selfie. The woman beside him, in an evening dress, didn't show her face, but I could tell. It was Chloe. The caption read, "Childhood sweethearts, aren't they practically family?" Chapter 7. Chloe gave the post a like. She never posted, and almost never liked or commented on anything, except when we were fighting about Peter. Then she'd start acting out. In the past, I'd have called her right away, maybe even rushed over, determined to be the one by her side, the one labeled partner. But now, I simply liked the post too, and then removed both of them from my favorites list. Zoning out again. Don't tell me you're going back home to take care of that woman. I chuckled and shut off my phone. No way. Tonight, your bro's crashing with you. The next morning, for once, I found missed calls from Chloe on my phone, and a few unread messages. It's so late. Why didn't you come home? A few minutes later, I didn't stay long at the party. In the past, whenever she had any event to attend, I'd rush home early to make hangover soup. Then when she stumbled and drunk, I'd help her out of her shoes and clothes, feed her soup, and clean up her vomit. It was unthinkable for her to come home to an empty apartment. I replied, "Out with Alex." Why? Much later, she responded with just, "Nothing." Chapter 8. I enrolled in an intensive IELTS prep course and hadn't been home for a few days. Surprisingly, Chloe messaged me first. Let's have dinner tonight. There were things between us that really needed to be said. Dinner was the right time for that, I replied. Sure, I'll head home after work. She replied instantly, I'll come pick you up. I didn't answer. Lisa had called me in to discuss details of the overseas assignment. At 5:30 p.m., Chloe messaged again. I'm downstairs at your office. I packed up and went down, only to find her car wasn't there. After double-checking a few times, she finally drove over from the opposite side of the street. Did your office move? She asked. Yeah, it did. Truth was, it had moved a long time ago, but she hadn't picked me up in so long. She didn't even know. I had wanted to tell her, but the last few times I asked her to pick me up, she snapped impatiently. You're a grown man. Can't even find your way home. I picked Peter up because he's sick. Why are you comparing yourself to someone with a medical condition? So I stopped telling her. I didn't want her thinking I was hinting again. I walked around to the back seat, her hand resting on the passenger side door, paused. Dominic. She called my name. I had already opened the rear door. I looked up. What? She looked uncomfortable. Why are you sitting back there? I froze for a second. The front passenger seat, that was always Peter's. He claimed his claustrophobia made it unbearable to sit anywhere without a wide field of view. I had fought with Chloe over this before, but she'd thrown a glass and looked at me with fury in her eyes. Why are you fighting a sick person over something so petty? You want me to admit there's something going on between us, don't you? We didn't speak for a month after that. Since then, I never argued about the front seat again. Oh, just a habit. I'll sit here. No. She seemed flustered. My hand froze. Please, sit here instead. I blinked. Okay, sure. My tone was light, like we were just co-workers, and there was no need to make a big deal out of it. As I got into the passenger seat, her eyes followed me the entire time. Chapter 9. Inside the car, it was completely silent. From time to time, she'd sneak a glance at me. Usually, it was always me who tried to start a conversation, but she'd inevitably shut it down with, "Don't distract me while I'm driving." Now, I had no desire to talk anyway. I leaned back and closed my eyes, blocking out both the silence and her gaze. Ding ding. My phone buzzed. I opened my eyes. It was Chloe's. The wallpaper was a photo of the two of us together. Caller ID, Peter. She immediately declined the call. Moments later, that shrill ding-ding rang out again. She moved to decline it again, but her hand paused above the button. I picked up the phone, answered the call, and handed it to her. She hesitated before finally taking it. Peter's voice trembled on the line. Chloe, I think my claustrophobia is acting up again. I can't remember where I put my house keys. I can't get out. Can you please come help me? Chloe looked at me, her grip tightening around the phone. I'll send someone else to you. Okay. But Peter's voice grew urgent. No, Chloe, only you can help me. I don't trust anyone else. She furrowed her brows and looked at me, as if searching for permission, but said nothing. I knew what she was thinking. Even on the rare occasions she came to pick me up, one phone call from Peter would always reroute her. No hesitation. And if I ever pushed back, she'd lose patience. You're only a few blocks from home. Can't you just walk? Peter is sick. He might not even find his own front door. We grew up together. Helping each other out is normal. You're healthy and fine. Why are you always so upset over him? You just want me to admit there's something going on between us, don't you? Ugh, you're impossible. Get out of the car and cool off. The worst time was at 1 a.m. Right after a fight, she drove off to help Peter, leaving me walking alone down a pitch-black street. Heart colder than the night. It's fine. Just drop me off at the next intersection, I said, pointing ahead. Forget it. I'll drop you off at home first, then go to him. I smiled. It's only a few blocks. I can walk home, you know, and it's not even on the way. No need to make a detour. I'll swing by the supermarket while I'm at it. It's just up ahead. She froze for a second, like the words struck a chord. She dropped me off at the supermarket entrance. Just as I was getting out, she suddenly grabbed my hand. I'll come home for dinner tonight. I blinked. All right. I'll make enough for both of us. Then, I gently pulled my hand away. She reached out reflexively, but I had already closed the door. Dominic. She called after me through the lowered window, her voice slightly panicked. I'm sorry. I gave her a soft smile. It's okay. He's sick. Go take care of him. And with that, I turned and walked into the supermarket. Chapter 10. I made dinner for two, but by 7:30, Chloe still hadn't shown up. I stared at the empty chair across from me and the untouched food on the table. Unlike the past, I didn't wait. I picked up my chopsticks and started eating by myself. By the time I finished, she still hadn't come home. No messages on my phone, no posts, no updates, just silence. Normally, whenever Peter called her over, he'd post something on social media. No idea why he broke the pattern this time. I cleared my side of the dishes, washed them, then wrapped up her portion in plastic wrap and put it in the fridge. After that, I went into the study, completed 2 full IELTS practice sets. When I looked up again, it was already past midnight. Time always flew when I was focused on my own stuff, hours gone without even realizing it. And during those hours, I hadn't thought about Chloe even once. That actually felt really good. My mind clear, my goals focused, I felt fulfilled. So this is what it means. Happiness doesn't have to depend on anyone else. I didn't ask when she'd be back. I just left a sticky note on the table. Food's in the fridge. Then I got ready for bed and went to sleep. The next morning, Chloe still hadn't come home. The note was still exactly where I left it. I didn't think too much of it. Got ready and left for work. I was swamped all morning syncing with colleagues overseas in Yemen, and honestly didn't even think about Chloe. It wasn't until lunch that I noticed several missed calls from her. Right as I saw them, she called again. I picked up. Her voice sounded urgent. Why weren't you answering your phone? It felt familiar. That anxious, demanding tone, that used to be my role. But now, I felt nothing. I was busy this morning. What's up? My tone was as neutral as if I were talking to a coworker. She paused for a moment, then said, "Nothing, it's just, last night. Peter's condition got worse, and I didn't have time to tell you. That's all." I laughed lightly. "Don't worry, I understand. You don't have to explain, I'm not upset, really." Maybe it was just me, but ever since I stopped reacting with anger, she started feeling uneasy, like she needed emotional validation from me. But I thought I'd been clear enough. Yes, really, I'm not upset. I understand. Just then, a colleague called me for lunch. I responded, "I've got to go eat now." "Anything else?" She hesitated, her voice a little shaky. "Well, last night was my fault. Let me cook dinner tonight. I'll pick you up after work." "Okay." I thought I misheard. She barely eats at home once or twice a month, and cooking. She's never cooked a meal for me, ever. When Peters had a panic episode, she'd rush over, make him porridge, calm him down. But if I ever complained, she'd frown and say, "You cook so well, you can't even make porridge for yourself." Back then, I told her, "It's not about the porridge. It's about the fact that you cook for him, but never for me." She always brushed it off. "What does it matter who makes it? You still eat it, don't you?" But it did matter a lot. In the past, if she had offered to cook for me, to come pick me up, I would have been over the moon. I would have felt like the luckiest guy alive. But now, I felt nothing. All I could think about was how I wouldn't be able to study tonight if she was home. So I said, "I've got a team dinner tonight. Won't be coming home." To my surprise, she asked, "Are there women on your team?" Last month, when it was Peter's birthday, she went on a 3-day trip with him to Sonia. We fought over that, and she snapped, "It's not like we went alone. A few of us just went to celebrate. And even if it was just the 2 of us, we grew up together. Our families have known each other since the last century. That's not crossing any line." She hated it when I questioned her social life. So why did she think she had a right to question mine? I brushed it off. Men and women both. Why? She paused. When she spoke, her voice was slightly strained. "It's nothing. Just take care of yourself. Thanks. You too." Chapter 11. Of course, the team dinner was a lie. I just wanted more time to study. I stayed at the office until 11 p.m. When security finally came to tell me to leave, I packed up my laptop and headed downstairs. Just as I opened my ride-hailing app, a car pulled up in front of me. Chloe stood in front of it, eyes slightly red. I froze. "How was the team dinner?" she asked. It was good." She forced a smile, clearly strained. "There wasn't a dinner, was there?" I still tried to deny it. "No, there was. It ended early. I came back to take care of something." "Dominic," her voice trembled slightly. "Hurt. I was downstairs at your office since 6:30. I saw your co-workers coming out. They told me there was no dinner tonight. I was stunned. Why were you there at 6:30? Her eyes looked glossy, like tears were forming. "Dominic, did you forget what day it is today?" My mind went blank. My first thought was, 10 days until the IELTS exam. "Dominic, today is my birthday." My eyes widened. Guilt rushed in. "Oh no. I'm so sorry. That's my fault. Let's go home and celebrate right now." I reached out for her, but she didn't move. She just stood there, red-eyed, looking straight at me. I had never forgotten her birthday before. Last year, I even prepared a surprise party at home well in advance, invited all our mutual friends. Everyone knew there was a ring hidden in the rose at the center of the cake, a proposal. I really thought, that night, I would finally fulfill the dream I'd had since graduation. But she humiliated me in front of all our friends. Everyone waited till midnight, and still she hadn't shown up. They looked at me with awkward sympathy. I called her, trying to hide my anxiety. Her voice was tired. "Watching the ocean with Peter." "What's up?" I clenched my fists. "Did you forget it's your birthday today?" "Oh. I totally forgot." "So what?" Why didn't you come home? Shouldn't I be the one celebrating with you? She sounded impatient. I'm exhausted. I don't want to fight. Chloe. My voice shook. I planned a whole surprise. Our friends are all here. Did I ask you to do that? It's just a birthday. Stop being so dramatic. Is it going to kill me if I don't celebrate? I bit my lip. Is it just the two of you watching the ocean? Oh great. Dominic's throwing a tantrum again. Peter's mocking voice came through the speaker. Ugh. He's so annoying. All he does is ask where I am. She vented to Peter, then turned back to me. Call off the surprise or whatever. All this effort, what's the point? I'm your girlfriend, not your property. Whether I celebrate, who I celebrate with, where I go, that's my choice. It has nothing to do with you. Stop being so clingy. Okay. I had her on speakerphone. Everyone heard her voice, and the cold, flat beep beep after she hung up without hesitation. And just before that, so quiet you might miss it, she muttered. God, so annoying. Chapter 12. Dominic, did you really forget my birthday? She grabbed my wrist. I let out a sigh. It's just a birthday. It's not like you're going to lose a limb. Shock flashed in her eyes, and her hand trembled slightly as she held mine. Thinking about how this relationship was nearing its end, I decided not to ruin her birthday on top of everything else. Every relationship deserves a good beginning, and hopefully, a decent ending too. I softened my tone. All right, the day's not over yet. Right, we can still make up for it. Come on, let's not fight. Let's go home. I'll grab some groceries, still plenty of time. She looked at me, cautiously. Are you still mad at me? I chuckled. Of course not. I was too suspicious before. I won't get upset with you anymore. She stared at me, uncertain whether to feel relieved or uneasy. You like sweet and sour ribs, don't you? It's your birthday, you shouldn't be the one cooking. Let's go buy some ribs. The supermarket's still open. Smiling, I took her hand and led her to the car. Finally, her expression began to soften. Dominic, in the past I raised a finger to my lips. It's your special day. Let's not dig up the past. As we passed a liquor and tobacco shop, I asked her to pull over. I came out a few minutes later carrying 2 packs. I opened one and handed her a cigarette. Here, it's your birthday, go ahead. Indulge yourself. I won't say anything this time. She froze again. I had always been strict about her smoking. After all, she was a woman, and smoking could be even harsher on her body. At first, she listened to me, but over time, she grew irritated. How do you expect me to get through business dinners without smoking? Peter doesn't nag me about it. Why are you always on my case? Now, she stared at the cigarette I offered her. When her eyes met mine, there was a flicker of concern. Why are you being so nice to me all of a sudden? It's your birthday, but try to smoke less in the future. It's bad for your health. And also, we're about to break up. But that, I wouldn't say, not today. She seemed to relax a bit and took the cigarette from my hand. Chapter 13. We bought the ingredients and got home. The moment the door opened, a shadow darted out from the hallway and lunged at Chloe. Haha, surprise. I came to celebrate your birthday. Bet you didn't expect this. Peter threw his arms around her. Chloe scrambled to push him away, eyes full of panic as she looked at me. Peter knew the passcode to our door. Chloe once told me he lived alone and had health issues. It wasn't safe for him. If something ever happened, he needed a place to go. This apartment was given to Chloe by her family, so I never said much about it. My eyes briefly paused on the ring he was holding. I smiled politely. Guests are guests. We've got enough food. Let's all eat together. I'll help you. Chloe rushed after me into the kitchen, leaving Peter awkwardly standing there, confused. I gently nudged her away. It's your birthday. Why are you working? She stopped at the doorway, looking hurt. Peter came over and tugged at her arm. Chloe, I got you a birthday present. That's when it hit me. I had forgotten to get her a gift. Chapter 14. During dinner, Peter sat right next to Chloe. She nudged him slightly and turned to me. Dominic, come sit by me. I took a sip of soup and said calmly, no need. Childhood sweethearts like you two should sit together. It's fine. Peter let out a snort, then scooted back beside Chloe. He picked up a piece of fish, carefully removed the bones, and placed it in her bowl. Chloe, here, have some fish. TSK. This kind of fish should have had the bones removed before cooking. Last time it got stuck in your throat. Dominic, next time don't buy this kind. Chloe doesn't like the texture. When I made it for her last time. Can you shut up already? Chloe cut him off abruptly. Peter was stunned. She had always taken his side in front of me, always. Why are you criticizing the food my boyfriend made for me? If you don't like it, leave. Chloe, you. Peter frowned. I gave a soft smile. It's fine, I won't make it for her again. Then I picked up a piece of the fish and placed it in my own bowl. I wouldn't make that dish for Chloe anymore, but I'd still make it for myself, because I actually liked it. Peter looked annoyed, grabbed a piece of the sweet and sour ribs, took a bite, then suddenly spat it out, grimacing. Dominic, why do the ribs taste sour? Is the meat even fresh? He then picked up the piece he'd bitten and held it up to Chloe's mouth. Chloe, try it. Doesn't it taste weird? Or is it just me? Smack. The rib hit the table. Peter stared at her in disbelief. Get out. Chloe's voice was ice cold. Peter blinked, stunned. What did you say? I said get out. Chloe, do you even know what you're saying? Peter stood up so fast the chair scraped loudly against the floor. Do I need to personally show you the door? Peter's eyes turned red instantly. He yanked the chair back and stormed out. The front door slammed so loud it shook the walls. Those two, childhood sweethearts, both had a flair for door slamming when they were mad. Chapter 15. Chloe got up and sat beside me. He's just spoiled by his family. Don't be mad. I smiled. It's all right. There was a knock at the door. Chloe frowned. I'll go tell him to leave. Wait. I stopped her and walked over to the door first. It's probably the gift I ordered for you. Her eyes lit up. I accepted the bag from the delivery guy, closed the door, and handed it to her. Happy 25th birthday, Chloe. Inside the gift bag was a red velvet ring box. A flicker of genuine joy shone in her eyes. But as she opened it, her expression darkened instantly. What's this supposed to mean? A diamond ring. Didn't you compliment this design before? It's hard to get, our local stores barely had any stock. I asked the sales rep to hold it especially for me. Don't you like it? She suddenly grabbed my wrist. Why would you get me this? Don't you know Peter has the exact same one? Back when Peter had shown her the ring, he'd held it up in front of her and asked if it looked good. She'd seriously commented on the craftsmanship and pattern. I smiled. I didn't know at the time. I thought you simply liked the design. Her hand trembled slightly. I took her hand and led her to the bedroom. From the drawer on the right side of her desk, I pulled out a similar red velvet box. The velvet on it was already worn, faded in places. Her face paled instantly. I opened the box and gave a bitter smile. Inside was a ring, same design as the one I had just gifted her. Only this one was missing several small diamonds. It was clearly aged, scratched, and heavily worn. You always kept that drawer locked. I assumed it had important documents or something. A while ago, when the drawer broke, I had someone come fix it. The repairman found it and mentioned it to me. My throat tightened. After 5 years of swallowing my pride, the ache didn't disappear so easily. And now it felt like I was clinging to this one moment, this one truth, just to finally let everything I had buried pour out. Chloe, that was when I found out. Peter's ring is part of a couple's set. Chloe's eyes filled with rare panic. No. Dominic, I just forgot. That was something he gave me a long time ago. Back then, I really liked it. Yes, but I didn't even know it was part of a couple's set. And that was before we started dating. Later, I just didn't want you to misunderstand. That's the only reason I locked it away. It didn't mean anything. I shook my head slowly, but when he asked you if the ring looked nice, you said yes. She paused. Her voice trembled. He's sick, and I didn't want to upset him. His parents take care of me too, so I gave a soft, almost tired laugh, and gently placed the ring back in its original box. Okay, let's go eat, Dominic. She grabbed my wrist in a panic. I turned around, gave her a gentle smile, and said softly, don't make a scene, be good. Let's eat. I have something I want to tell you tomorrow. Chapter 16. I had only taken a few steps when Chloe suddenly threw herself into my arms, hugging me tightly. In our 5 years together, she had only ever hugged me like that back when we first started dating. She buried her face in my chest. Dominic, please don't be like this. Be mad at me. Okay, I know you must have been angry these past few days. I know I messed up. Please don't treat me like this. I'm begging you. I chuckled softly. I'm not mad, really, but she held me tighter. Is it because I was too close with Peter? I won't see him anymore. I'll ask his parents to take care of him. I won't go over there again. I'll change the code on our door. From now on, it'll be just you in my life, no other men. Okay. I didn't respond. After a long pause, I let out a quiet sigh. Chloe, see, you do know what you did wrong. Her arms around mine trembled, and her voice got softer and softer. I'm sorry, please forgive me, just this once. I gently patted her back. Be good. Let's eat. This is the last meal I'll ever cook for you. Ding ding. Her phone rang again, the sharp ringtone slicing through the silence. She answered it quickly. After a few rushed responses, she suddenly grabbed her coat and darted for the door. Something urgent came up at work. I need to leave for a bit. Right before stepping out, she turned around and kissed me, quick and hard. Wait for me. And then she was gone. What she didn't know was that I saw the caller ID. It wasn't the company. It was Peter. Chapter 17. She didn't come back after that. Not even a single message. But strangely, her WeChat feed, something she never updated, started posting daily. Day 1, she had a fight with Peter. She called his parents and asked them to take him home to rest. Day 2, a photo of her working late at the office, saying she was exhausted. Day 3, some pictures from our college days. Caption, missing the past. I started wondering if those updates were set to only visible to Dominic, but what was the point? I messaged her, we need to talk in person. No reply. Maybe she thought ignoring me could delay the inevitable, but in reality, when one person stops wanting to talk, that is the end of a relationship. Wanting to talk face to face is just a courtesy, a way to give closure, but it's not necessary. She didn't come home, so I quietly packed my things. The apartment was hers. I removed every trace of myself and put everything back the way it had been. I passed my IELTS soon. I'd be leaving this place. Before I left, my coworkers threw me a big farewell party. I was in a good mood and drank a little too much, unaware that we had broken up. One of my coworkers casually called Chloe. Chapter 18. When my coworkers helped me out of the venue, I collapsed against a soft, familiar figure. It was Chloe. She politely thanked them. Thank you for looking after him. Someone joked. No wonder Dominic was so reluctant to go to Yemen. He's got someone who really cares about him here. In that instant, I felt her grip on my arm tighten abruptly. I didn't want her to start questioning me right there, so I slurred deliberately, Chloe, let's go. I'm so tired. Only then did she, clearly distracted, help me into the front passenger seat and buckle my seatbelt. On the way home, she clutched the steering wheel tightly. What did they mean by that? I dropped the drunken act, leaning against the window. There's a project over there. The company needs me to go. The veins on the back of her hand stood out, but she kept her tone steady. For how long? 2 years. She was quiet for a moment, then said softly, 2 years, that's not too long. I can wait. Wait for what? She pulled over, reached into her bag, and brought out a red velvet ring box. Inside was a men's diamond ring, completely different in design from the one I had given her. Under the streetlight, her eyes were filled with emotion and cautious hope. Dominic, let's get married. I'm proposing to you. Chapter 19. I stared at the ring. For a long time, I said nothing, then suddenly laughed. Chloe, did you know that last year, on your birthday, I hid a ring just like that inside your cake? Oh, wait, mine was the women's version. Her face went pale. I laughed until tears filled my eyes. Chloe, our taste is so perfectly aligned. It's almost poetic. Too bad, it's all too late now. She suddenly grabbed my wrist, eyes rimmed with red. No, it's not too late, Dominic. It's not too late for us. I'll wait for you, 3 years, 5 years, however long it takes. As long as you come back, we'll get married. Okay. If you're willing, we can even. Chloe, I calmly pulled my hand away. We already broke up. In that moment, all color drained from her face. Her hand hung frozen in the air, too stunned to fall back down. Chloe, we dated for 5 years, and during those 5 years, I had so many unrealistic dreams about us. I know it's been exhausting for you. After tonight, you're free. Her eyes welled up, and she clung to the last thread of hope. No, they weren't just dreams, they were our future. I gave a gentle smile. We don't have a future together anymore, but we each still have our own. With that, I opened the car door and stepped out. I left the house key on the shoe rack. I've moved all my stuff out. I'm flying to Yemen tomorrow. Maybe we'll meet again someday. I walked down the familiar street. Behind me, the car's headlights stayed on, lighting the road ahead of me. Right as I reached the corner, curiosity got the better of me. I turned around. In the driver's seat, she had slumped over the steering wheel, her shoulders shaking uncontrollably. I'd never seen her cry before. This was the first time, but it had nothing to do with me anymore. My future was waiting, bright and wide open.